Round 5 of the 2011 Castrol BMW Race Driver Series is from Hampton Downs in conjunction with the Toyota Racing Series and the New Zealand Motor Cup.
I know you guys aren't allowed to do too much to these cars to keep the costs down, and so the racing must be really, really close. So how do you guys pass each other?
Wow, yeah, that's it really. Just go deep under brakes and try and keep it all together and stay on the track, I guess. We're all pretty good to each other, you know. We can't get too out of hand or you get in big trouble, you know, which is fair enough.
So heading into the 5th round of the championship, let's have a look at some of the highlights and the round victors from the early rounds in the E30 class for the BMW Race Driver Series, brought to you by Castrol. It was Ashley Blewett in dominant form. He would leave Hampton Downs at the end of the 1st round with the championship lead, heading to round number 2 at Mighty Manfield for the MG Classic. Here at Manfield, we come down between Matt Griffin, Brent Allen and Marty Irvine for overall honours, with all three sharing in the results, and the same three right at the top end of the points chase, heading to the next round at Taupo. Again, it was Griffin, Allen and Irvine, all featuring in the results, and pretty much the top three in the championship would remain that way. Some fantastic racing between Griffin and Allen. Marty Irvine was playing a little bit of catch-up in the final race of the weekend, giving the other two a much-needed points break heading to the next round of the championship. So after 4 rounds, with another round at Hampton Downs, Brent Allen leads overall on 2, 3, 4, 5, ahead of Marty Irvine, with Matt Griffin in 3rd on 2,113 points. So on to the first race of the weekend, 3 races for 2 groups, with again a huge entry for the BMW E30s. Also the BMW Open class scheduled for 3 races over the weekend. And this meeting in conjunction with the Toyota Racing Series New Zealand Motor Cup and the 2nd round of the New Zealand Endurance Racing Series, the Altherm 1000. So this is the faster group. Brent Allen starting off the pole for race number 1. Finished second to Marty Irvine very, very narrowly in the championship last year. That's the 5 of Mike Ashton right in behind him, and just a light shower of rain over Hampton Downs, just making things a little bit difficult. All of these BMW E30s, the 4 and the 6 cylinders on the same Toyo Performance tyres, treaded tyre. The conditions didn't get any better, but Brent Allen holding off Mike Ashton for the race lead. Another huge entry with well up over 50 cars entered for the weekend. And another big entry for the open class as well. So this is Group 1, Race 1. John the Pom Allen getting it all wrong on the Hampton Downs infield. That'll drop him back out of the top 15 positions, with 21 starters for the first race for the Group 1s. Odds and evens qualifying, that's how they set the groups before we get to the final round in the 3rd race of the weekend, with the top 25 in points. Race for the top 25 positions for the weekend, and the balance, squabble over the balance of the positions in the 2nd group. So Mike Ashton having a strong run here, but he's got nothing for Brent Allen. Battles further back, the 16 of Dan Slater and the 17 of Bruce Miller. Miller getting it wrong. That was a battle up inside the top 3 as Miller buries the bright red E30 into the kitty litter. Don't know that there was any contact, but Miller just got outside on that dirtier line, got into a tank slapper. Couldn't quite straighten it back up to keep it back on terra firma and into the gravel pit. He made contact with the tyre wall with the left rear guard. And that ends Bruce Miller's race. So the last lap run for Brent Allen. Very busy young man, not only contesting the BMW Race Driver Series, but also crews for Craig Beard in the United Video Falcon in the BNT V8 Championship. Brent Allen taking the victory in race 1, Group 1 from Mike Ashton. Dan Slater survives that clash with Bruce Miller for 3rd. So it's Brent Allen, Mike Ashton, Dan Slater, Kane Berry 4th, followed by Craig Schuster, Dave Farmer, Tony Easton and Mark Crompton. And here's Roger Davis with some more tech tips on the BMW E30s.
The E30 class, basically a stock standard class. Stock standard car, stock standard engine, and they've still got the electric windows. Even though the E30 class is a stock standard class, the drivers can still adjust a couple of things on the car. The first thing they can adjust by using this little adjuster, little plastic piece here, they bang it in there and it basically adjusts the shock absorbers on the car, on the front, and they can also do it on the rear of the car as well. Well, after the shock absorbers, the next thing they can adjust is the tyre pressures. But before they do that, they must have the tread on the tyre, because if this tread goes away, it becomes like a slick tyre and it will be totally illegal on the car. The way they adjust the tyre pressures, by using the tyre gauge. And they can adjust the pressures either up or down. That'll affect the grip level, but more importantly, will give the balance in the car from the front to the rear.
I was going to say these are 20-year-old cars, the BMWs. They look pretty stock. I mean, I would imagine it almost looks as though somebody would, well, some of them could drive them to and from the race meetings.
Yeah, you can. They've got a warrant in Rego. It's part of the rules of the series. They have to be road legal. You find that most of the guys actually drive them to and from the track. It helps keeping the cost down, and it helps keeping the modifications under control as well.
I was going to say that seems to be a big thing with this class, is that to keep the cost down, to reduce the cost. So what are you actually allowed to do to these things?
Actually, not a hell of a lot. The motors are reasonably standard. We've got strict guidelines for how we build them, tolerances and all that sort of thing. The tyres are set, suspension's set, and we've even got weight limits. So every time we come in for a race, we have to weigh at the same time. That's pretty much it.
And the other thing, mate, are the cars suited to going around Hampton Downs? Because it's a pretty quick circuit. I mean, you know, but you've got lots of room to pass and manoeuvre yourself, because you guys look as busy as out there.
Yeah, well, they're not the most powerful cars in the world. It comes down to how the driver is at the time. But Hampton does make them struggle a little bit, especially coming up over that hill. But other than that, no, they're really good fun. They turn in really nice, and it keeps us struggling, you know, quite competitive around here.
So Daniel Rollison, one of the drivers to watch in Group 2, Race 1 here at Hampton Downs. Matt Griffin, who was the second qualifier, qualified number 2 behind Brent Allen. We saw Brent Allen out in Group 1, number 1. This is Group 2. Matt Griffin, who's right up there in the championship chase. Very strong start to the season. 7 rounds for the 2011 Castrol BMW Race Driver Series, and still some light rain out there on the race circuit, as you can see. Matt Griffin with the race lead, so watch for the green. Daniel Rollison. Marty Irvine's out there as well, another green coloured car, but with the blue highlights. But it's the distinctive Auckland Hydraulic Supplies 999 of Matt Griffin continuing to lead from the drop of the flag, like we saw with Brent Allen in the first race for Group number 1. So Matt Griffin looking for a good start to his weekend, remembering there is a reverse grid race, the second race. A lot of work to do from towards the back of the grid, certainly for the faster drivers. So expect the likes of Matt Griffin, Daniel Rollison, Richard Oxton, who's just coming into shot now in the second of the Dayglow coloured E30s. Son of former New Zealand racing great David Oxton, of course. And of course from Group 1, the likes of Brent Allen and those that featured in the top results for the first race to start near the back for their respective groups. So a total of 6 races for the E30, split into the 2 groups, 3 for the open class cars, and they'll be coming up a little bit later. Matt Griffin being chased there by Daniel Rollison. Marty Irvine still not in that top 3, hasn't had everything his own way. As Matt Griffin takes the last lap board for 1 to go. Fastest lap has gone to Marty Irvine at a 1:23.587. He would have been a little bit disappointed with his qualifying effort. He only managed to qualify in the 12th position. He's in that battle for 4th overall here in the first heat. It is still Matt Griffin, Daniel Rollison, and Richard Oxton slotted into that 3rd position. There's Rollison just coming into shot. Matt Griffin and Richard Oxton, both very, very good former karters. 47, Philip Smurthwaite, he's buried in the kitty litter on the last lap. He will be a DNF, but Matt Griffin will take out first race for Group 2, Race 1 of the weekend from Daniel Rollison. Headlights on for Richard Oxton. Will cross the line in the 3rd position with the defending New Zealand champion Marty Irvine crossing the line 4th overall. So Matt Griffin takes the win from Daniel Rollison, Richard Oxton, Marty Irvine in 4th ahead of Ashley Blewett, Gerald Farver, Tony Houston and Harvey Gray.
That car must be nearly 40 years old. What the hell are you doing throwing a 40-year-old car around Hampton Downs?
Well, I'm older than it, and I get thrown around, so one of the 40-year-old. Yeah, it's a 1971, 2 litre, 2002, so I've been driving it for about 10 years now. So it's, I know how to drive it, I think, and it goes really well. It's an awesome car to drive around, especially on the tight bits around here.
So what makes the 2002 a good car to go this sort of class of racing in?
They're very forgiving. You can just chuck them into anything. Like I've done a couple of Targas and mini Targas and everything in it too, and you can chuck them in, and they just handle right back out again. And that's why the E30s were so good, because they were based on the 2002s, I think.
So let's have a look at the opening rounds of the championship, where Barry Kirkburnand, Aaron Harris and Neville Finlay dominated the first round of the championship at Hampton Downs. Barry Kirkburnand leaving Hampton Downs with the overall Class A championship lead. For round number 2, Mike Dalmont came to the fore at Mighty Manfield. He and Warwick Mortimer having a huge battle for the overall Class A victory. Dalmont taking race victory from Mortimer in that one. In round 4 at Taupo again, it was Dalmont, Mortimer and Barry Kirkburnand. Barry Kirkburnand keeping his championship lead in Class A, with Aaron Harris and Michael Starnes really going at it for the Class B honours. Martin Seddon dominating the Class C part of the championship, heading into round number 5 at Hampton Downs. Again, it was Mike Dalmont with a race victory, but problems in the early rounds saw him back in the points. Barry Kirkburnand with the championship lead over Stephen Lawrence, Neville Finlay, David Lawrence, Mike Dalmont, Warwick Mortimer, Chris Wright and Mike Mosen. So Michael Starnes leading Class B, Martin Seddon. Class C heading into the 5th round here at Hampton Downs. BMW Open race number 1. In the Open class joined by Mike Eadie. The BMW M3 V8. This car's probably better known as an endurance racer, having contested the likes of the Pukekohe 6 Hour in races over the last year to 18 months. So Andre Cowan was the top qualifier. He leads this first race. The reigning Class A champion in the ex-International Motorsport BMW 325. This car has won many, many championships at the hands of the likes of Jason Richards and Craig Beard. So Mike Eadie chasing him down in the later model BMW M3. E92 shape. You can hear the bellowing V8 there in the background. So Mike Eadie qualified second to Andre Cowan. Remembering we've got class battles right through this field. Car 11 there, Richard Spedding running in Class C, and one off. That's a big off too for the 73 of Derek Cecil. Derek Cecil running in Class B. So some problems for him, and might further back Barry Kirkburnand, the overall Class A championship leader. He only managed to qualify 6th. So playing a little bit of catch up here in the first race of the weekend for the Open class. Lap traffic now for Andre Cowan. His first start in the championship, did not contest the first 4 rounds with other commitments. So good to see the youngster back. I know talking to Andre at the end of last season, he was looking at possibly trying to do something along the lines of the Toyota Racing Series Championship. Unfortunately didn't come to fruition, but a young man with a very big future. And there's the Class B championship leader, Michael Starnes, off the edge of the track. So a DNF, that could be a very costly DNF for Michael Starnes. As the last lap board comes out, Andre Cowan going by the Class C championship leader, Martin Seddon. So the fastest lap of the race, a 1:12.280 for Andre Cowan. And that's faster than he qualified at with a 13.6 as Richard Spedding goes off track. So Warwick Mortimer and Barry Kirkburnand have not been able to make any forward progress too much, certainly to the race leaders. Andre Cowan taking out the first victory for the Open class here at Hampton Downs. So Andre Cowan taking out the overall victory from Mike Eadie, Warwick Mortimer, Barry Kirkburnand, Paul Mill, Neville Finlay, Chris Watson and Graham Fraser.
This year, the Open BMW Championship has got 3 classes. You've got Group A, Group B and Group C. And each class has got their own championship. Group A is the true Open Championship. Basically, anything goes. You can run whatever motor you like, you can run whatever gearbox you like, and also you run on slick tyres. Well, in Group B, there's a few more restrictions as opposed to Group A. Basically, you're allowed to run a modified engine, no turbochargers, but there is a weight restriction. Basically, the bigger engine, the more weight you've got to carry. But the main thing in the Group B is the controlling factor of the tyre. All the competitors must run these dot-rated tyres. Well, the rules in Group C are very similar to the rules in Group B. Basically, all the competitors must run a dot-rated tyre like this. Now, this is basically just a high-speed road tyre. The other major rule in Group C is all the cars must be under 2 litre. Now, there is a weight restriction. If you're running a 4-valve motor, it's a heavier car. If you're running a 2-valve motor, you run a lighter car. So there you have it in the Open BMW Championship. 3 classes, Group A, Group B and Group C. What that generates on the racetrack is very close racing. The drivers love it, and more importantly, the crowd really love it.
Welcome back to Hampton Downs. Our race coverage continues from the Castrol BMW Race Driver Series. So on to Group 1 race number 2. It's Brent Allen with all of the work to do in this one from the back of the grid. So they head down into turn number 1. John Paladin out there in car 54. So it's 113 Oren Wells, looks to be the first car away. And for the first time, certainly that I can remember, there's a BMW wagon out there in the E30s. Now that's a first even for me. Try and pick up a race number for you. Charles Dodd's just going through there in car number 79. So it is the 113 of Oren Wells with the race lead. A big drop off the hairpin here at Hampton Downs. So the weather continues to improve. It's still quite cool. But that rain has gone away from the first round of racing. So Brent Allen will be trying to make up as much ground as he can here. There's the 707 of Graham Ball, another young kart sport racer that's come through the ranks, contesting the BMW Race Driver Series for 2011. Beautifully presented car there. Car 21 is Johnny Lovitch. And guess what? Another young karter come out of kart sport. So Graham Ball has got through to the lead. Oren Wells just getting shuffled back through the pack. And what a pack it is. It's very, very congested back there for the miners as Charles Dodds runs off and just tags the back of the 54 of John Paladin. So a big moment there for Charles Dodds. Here's Craig Schuster going down the inside, that bright yellow number 50 BMW E30. Let's have a look at the replay here, and you can just see Charles Dodds there running out of space off the outside of the track, getting it all wrong. So there's Graham Ball, he is the race leader. Looks like Dan Slater closing the gap to him in behind in the number 16 machine. And here is Slater with a run to the outside of Graham Ball. Looking for the race lead, the second race for Group 1, and around the outside down into turn number 1. He makes the pass stick. That is a daunting piece of racetrack because you're unsighted down into the right-hander off the main straight here at Hampton Downs. Fastest lap of the race to date is Brent Allen through traffic at a 1:22.386. Compare that to Dan Slater doing 23.5s and Graham Ball with a 24.5. Brent Allen certainly with some pace on as we go to the last lap. Slater holding on from Graham Ball. Brent Allen coming into the reckoning as well, but it's going to be Dan Slater to take the victory in the second race for Group number 1 from Graham Ball and Brent Allen. So Dan Slater, Graham Ball, Brent Allen, Greg Russell, Tony Easton, Kane Barry, Mike Ashton and David Farmer.
So Dan, how hard work was that out there?
Yeah, it got pretty busy out there. Yeah, no, it was a few big dives under brakes to get me out the front. So yeah, it was pretty exciting. And I was running pretty late this morning. I got stuck in a traffic jam. I drove the car here, and I made it straight in here. Jumped out of the car, emptied all my stuff out straight on the track, and managed to win. So I'm pretty happy.
So basically, it is true. You can drive these things to a circuit, go quick, win a race, then drive home.
Yep, that's the one.
Well, mate, a great class. It's no wonder it's such a popular class. Well, good luck for later on.
Cool, thanks, mate.
So on to the second race for group number 2. Race 1 victory went to Matt Griffin, and he'll start near the tail of the field here in this one. And after this race, we'll have the top 25 in points. They'll go through to race the final for the top 25 points positions for the round. Certainly the likes of Brent Allen, Marty Irvine, and Matt Griffin will be in that mix. So 34 there is Michael Moros. He's going through, long-time BMW campaigner, also contests the Dunlop Targa events around New Zealand. There's Marty Irvine, he's battling there with Matt Griffin. There's Ashley Blewett and Richard Oxton, another 2 young former karters. Here's Matt Griffin trying to work his way through. So just 8 laps. We saw in that previous race Brent Allen from the rear of the grid getting through to 3rd position overall. So a fantastic drive there for the championship leader. So 101 is Richard Batchelor. Looking for an outside run there on the 93. That's Steve Kahn. A lock up there. 47 going through. It's Philip Smurthwaite. He found the gravel in the first race of the weekend, and Matt Griffin here is really struggling to go forward. There's the pass road number 65 of Gerald Farber. Also the 10 of Harvey Gray in that bright yellow BMW E30. Very similar car to the number 50 of Craig Schuster. Craig Schuster running in the first group for the weekend. So Steve Kahn with the advantage, now coming under pressure from the 90 of Craig Coates. And the 58 of Tony Houston. He's raced in the Mini Challenge in the past. And the motor racing circuits all over New Zealand. The GJ Gardner Holmes BMW E30 looking to do something different here with the BMW E30s. Richard Oxton's right there in the mix. He stormed through from about 3/4 of the way through the field. Richard Oxton qualifying 10th for the weekend. Solid finish in the first race. 3rd overall for group number 2. There is young Richard Oxton. So he's got by the race leader, Steve Kahn, as well. And Daniel Rollison's right up there too in the number 42, Tony Houston. Ashley Blewett, look out for the orange of Blewett there. He's about the 6th in the queue as we go to the last lap. It's going to be a blanket finish. Certainly one of the closest races of the weekend with the handicap start. Oxton looking to the outside, 3 wide down into turn number 1. Hold your breath stuff. Houston slips through on the inside. Ashley Blewett in that bright orange number 66. He's missed one of the earlier rounds after leading after the first round of the championship. There is Matt Griffin and Marty Irvine, and they are both outside of the top 10 as the 747 of Tony Richardson goes through. So Irvine and Griffin will be disappointed with their progress. Certainly an advantage for Brent Allen after that 3rd place finish in the previous race. Daniel Rollison will take the victory, an entertaining race victory over Tony Houston, with Richard Oxton in 3rd, arguably one of the drives of the race. So it's Rollison with the win from Tony Houston, Richard Oxton, Craig Coates, Steve Kahn, Ashley Blewett, Steve Neuer and Richard Batchelor.
It looked pretty hard work out there, Dan.
Mate, yeah, it was pretty tough going. It's been a long time coming as well. I worked pretty hard for it. The car's done really well for this time around as well.
So you're looking forward to some more race action later on?
Yeah, I am. I'm starting 2nd next to Brent. A little bit slower than Brent, so yeah, do my best to keep up with him for a little while.
I've seen a few M3s floating around on the roads. Yours, although it's got an M3 badge, I think the taillights are the only things I recognise from a normal road-going M3. Do you want to just quickly fill us in what makes your one so special?
Oh, it's a little bit special. It's a bit of a mix-up of bits and pieces, really. It's got a 540 engine out of a 5 Series in it, and an E30 diff, and it's all just cobbled together, and it seems to go all right when it behaves itself.
So anything to improve on the car, or are you just going to leave it as she is?
More power. Got to have more power.
So does mean you're just going to stick a bigger engine in there, or just do some other stuff?
Just fiddle with the cams and things and try and get a few more horses, and yeah, that'll be about it. But she's good to go.
So look for Mike Mosen in the second race for the open class, Class A, B and C. And with the handicap start for race number 2, it is the smaller capacity Class C's away from the front of the field. And the first car away is the 113 of Joel Kiernan. And a lot of these E30s are doing double duty over the E30 class and the open category in Class C. So the faster boys with some work to do. You can see that handicap, they've only just got away ahead of the slower cars, so they've got the better part of a whole lap to make up on the slower cars away in this handicap reverse grid start. There's Warwick Mortimer going through in the BMW M3 GTR replica, V8 power. So it looks like 35 Judy DeLuva is the race leader in the early laps, although Peter Bromley comes into the mix now in that beautiful little BMW 2002. So Bromley goes through to the lead. He is also running in Class C. And a second place finish in his class behind Martin Seddon in race number 1 to keep him in championship contention. So quite a distinctive little car. We'll keep an eye out for the quicker cars to come through as the laps wind down here in the second race for the open class, and it looks to be the first of the Class Bs coming through. '25 is Trevor Smith, certainly one of those. Michael Clark just in behind him in the number 387, looking for an inside run down into turn number 2. As Smith just loses the back end and around he goes, just clips Clark on the way through. And there's a fair amount of traffic bearing down on him. Here's Mike Mosen coming into the picture. Here's the replay. Smith just gets it wrong, out onto the marbles and loops up the number 25 BMW, just clips Mike Clark on the way through. Certainly Mike Clark went around in the aftermath of that as well, so he's been delayed here. So the quicker guys starting to come into the picture. There's Neville Finlay going through in the number 48 BMW Z3M Coupe, as Mike Mosen now takes over the race lead in the number 344 BMW M3 GTR replica, the wide body style like Barry Kirk Bonanz. So Mike Mosen with a good run through traffic. Warwick Mortimer looking to the outside of Michael Starnes, who will look to be the first Class B home here. This is a good run for Mike Mosen. We saw him lose an engine at the third round of the championship at Taupo. So this is a good return for the parts man. The Mosen BMW parts. BMW M3 will take the victory in race number 2 in open, an entertaining race with the handicap grid. Warwick Mortimer through to second for an M3 GTR 1, 2 and 3, with Neville Finlay crossing the line in the third position. So Mike Mosen from Warwick Mortimer, Neville Finlay, Michael Starnes fourth home overall, first in Class B, ahead of Peter Bromley, first in Class C, Zachary Lawrence, Mike Eadie and Andre Cowan.
We heard the phrase hot off the press, so you're hot out of the car. How's it feel to get the win?
It's a pretty good turnaround of luck, actually. I had my fair share of bad luck, so it's good to have some good luck for a change.
Well, does the car like Hampton Downs circuit? Because it's quite an open, wide, quick, fast circuit with places to pass. So does it quite suit the car setup?
Yeah, definitely. I've pretty much wanted to build the car to suit this track because it's my home track and it's where I do all my testing, so I like it here.
Did you enjoy your race, or was it a bit of hard work?
Oh, it's extremely hard work out there. It's very hot. 2 laps to go, I couldn't see anything coming behind. I thought I might keep those big V8s out, but no, on the last lap they just got too much power for a little 2 litre.
Have you done much work on it, or is it pretty much roundabout stock?
The bottom half is nearly all stock. The top half's got a different cam and everything on it, which gives it a little bit more oomph out of the corners, and changed the diff on it. In fact, I changed the diff last night from yesterday, and that obviously made a lot of difference to it. So it went really well.
You took out Group B, so how hard was that?
No, it was good. It was quite easy, really. My main competition, Aaron Harris, isn't here this weekend, so it's sort of lucky for me. I can gain a few points back on him.
So, and are you looking forward to going out this afternoon?
Yeah. So there's another reverse grid on lap times. So reverse all the grids in the classes A, B, and C. So start at the back again and work my way forward.
All right then. Well, good luck, mate.
The action continues from Hampton Downs for the Castrol BMW Race Series 5th round. It's on to the third and final race for Group 1 in the E30 category. So these drivers have qualified out of the top 21 positions for the final. So effectively, this race is the battle for 22nd and beyond in the points for the round and the weekend. And it is a heads-up start with the top point scorer for the group, effectively starting off the front row. So John Paladin's back out there in the number 54. Sister car to the number 1 of Marty Irvine, 47. It's Philip Smurthwaite. He's had an eventful weekend, as has John the Pom Tyler in the number 76 machine. Spent a little bit of time in the kitty litter in race number 1. So the battle out front, it is 187 Paul Clark, who started off the front row, and the 79 of Charles Dodds. Paul Clark doing double duty this weekend in the E30s and the open class in Class B. We saw him have that spin after contact with Trevor Smith in the previous race, as Dodds looking down the inside at 2. Clark with the momentum holds on to the spot. So we've got a three-way battle for the lead here. The final race for Group 1. The last race for the second group to come out, the top 21 point scorers for the weekend. Look for the battle to continue from the likes of Brent Allen, Marty Irvine, Daniel Rollinson and Matt Griffin. Certainly those that have started throughout the weekend with some good results. Also Dan Slater has had a very, very solid weekend, as had Mike Ashton. So it's still Paul Clark here. Clark name, well known in the Speedway fraternity with Paul's brother Tim, as Tony Richardson makes a nice inside pass there on Dodds for the second position. Fastest lap of the race, Bruce Miller. He's back there in about the 6th position at the moment, trying to work his way forward. 123.5. Compare that to 124.4 for Paul Clark, 124.2 for Tony Richardson, and a 24.4 for Charles Dodds. So Bruce Miller definitely working his way towards the front here. In his final race of the weekend at Hampton Downs. From here, the teams head to Pukekohe for the penultimate round of the championship, and then it's back to Hampton Downs for the final of the 2011 Castrol BMW Race Driver Series. So it's still Paul Clark out in front. Dodds trying to get a run back on Tony Richardson for that second position. Looks like Bruce Miller's now slotted into the 5th position.